Hello and welcome back to our series on fundamental movement patterns. Today we're going to be discussing the posterior chain. I'm Elad Cohen, founder of Tempest Training. So the posterior chain is the muscles that are on the back side of the body. If we were to sort of stand like this, you sort of draw a dividing line that goes more or less in line with your ears all the way down to the side of your ankle through the floor. That line divides you up into an anterior and posterior side. So the posterior chain is just all of the lower body muscles on the back here.
Hey, quick edit here. So when we're talking about the posterior chain, we're talking about how to train it, we're talking about the applications. What you need to keep in mind is that there are three joints we care about here: the hip, the knee, and the ankle. And if we see extension at the hip, flexion at the knee, and plantar flexion at the ankle, so pointing your toes, that's a movement which either can be trained by the posterior chain training, improved by it, or it is a posterior chain drill in of itself.
So that's the lower back, the glutes, the hamstrings, the calf muscles. These are what we're training when we do posterior chain movements. In terms of application, aside from just preventing injury to things like the hamstrings when you do acceleration moves like sprinting, jumping, making sure the glutes are nice and strong, we want to make sure that these muscles are active when we're doing things like running, any kind of lifting activity, so that we protect our back and it doesn't get overused, because these muscles are a lot bigger. The glutes and the hamstrings are a lot bigger than the lower back and can do a lot more work. We also want to be good at lifting just because it's a day-to-day activity. If we ever want to be able to pick up a couch or something else that's heavy, having a strong posterior chain can help. In terms of movements that I like to use to train the posterior chain, we have variations on deadlifts, although you don't have to deadlift, okay? It's not obligatory if for whatever reason you don't want to deadlift or don't have access to a gym. Nordic folds, razors, Nordic hamstring curls, ring curls, okay, ring hamstring curls and ring sort of glute extension drills are all very good alternatives. They're not just good alternatives, I actually use them as primary training maneuvers with a lot of my clients. Variations on bridges are also good examples. Hip extension, if you have access to a hip extension machine or hip extension station, sort of hip thrust, that kind of thing. All of those are good posterior chain drills. Hex deadlifts are good. So really it's up to you, but fundamentally we want to make sure those muscles are getting hit. And if you're squatting, those muscles do get some work. So if I had to pick between just doing squatting work for the rest of my life and completely ignoring specific posterior chain drills, I probably would pick squatting drills because you will see some posterior chain gains out of doing that. But I like to make sure that both are getting hit on the regular. I hope that that helps you make decisions about what to do on a day that you're doing the posterior chain, just your legs in general, a lower body day. And yeah, let me know if there are any questions or comments down below. And feel free to reach out either here or on Facebook if you have anything you want to say. Have a good day.